Hey everyone, Fiona here from the Student Music Network, and I am joined by Amy and Holly from Crawlers. Hello, how are you doing?
It's us. We're good. Good. Been fucking. I'm out around this.
Oh yeah, that's so.
It's been fucking crazy. It's been very busy. Bit swept off feet. Currently contacting you via our tour van in London because we're doing secret stuff up here.
Oh my goodness, secret stuff. Stop it. That's so edgy. I feel like being able to be like, yeah, sorry, I'm just having to do it from the back of the tour bus. My bad. Is like,
I'm just having to do it on the back of the tour bus with all my bitches here. They're all just waiting for me, you know.
I've had to like pick all the groupies out while I do this. They're all just like waiting outside. They're actually cleaning the tour bus now. We've just got them to do. That's just the rock.
You know what? Right now, it's this early and I'm just drinking a Heineken just because I'm so. By the way, we're like the least rock and roll band ever. Like we're literally like have our heated up blankets on at like 6 p.m. and then fall asleep and then like watch Bake Off. We're the worst. But you know what? Let's pretend we're rock and roll just for this.
Yeah, it's all about the persona. It's all about, you know, what you appear to be, that rock and roll like image, I guess. But I also love the wholesome like domestic. Like I have an electric blanket as well, so maybe that makes me really rock star or really like.
Oh, they're amazing. I think it makes you the most rock star actually.
Yeah. Being proud of an electric blanket is the most rockstar thing you could do, probably, I would say.
We haven't stopped gabbing on about these electric blankets.
They're the best. We've got them on we have had them on in the van when it's cold and in the hotels and stuff.
Started to snooze the other day. Me and Amy were sharing it feet to feet, and then we were like, oh, it's getting a bit snoozy in here now. Literally, it's fucking 5 o'clock and we're going to bed. So, you know what?
That actually sounds quite lovely, to be honest.
It actually is.
Maybe within the wholesome kind of vibe now, because I have this question. By the time this is released, your EP, Loud Without Noise, will be out, which is really, really exciting. Right now, it's not quite because it's October 28th, if I'm right.
It's November 4th now.
November 4th. Oh, you've moved it. Well, then maybe we might be aligning a little bit more then. That's perfect.
Okay.
Good to know.
Perfect.
So, but I was thinking, so I actually was in the crowd for your Community Fest gig set. Yeah, I was there, and like I've obviously heard your music along the road as well, and I feel like Without Noise probably isn't what I would say is going on. Like I would say it's probably like outrageously good and vibey and rocky noise, but it's there. So I wanted to ask, like, where did Loud Without Noise kind of come from in terms of titling your debut EP?
Yeah, so Loud Without Noise is a lyric from I Can't Drive. And I remember turning to Amy and just being like, I've got the mixtape title, if you like it, that is. Because this is what happens. If anyone comes with ideas, they've got to go through Amy because Amy's like the sensible one we all trust. You know what I mean? So go to Amy, I'm like, what do you think? Loud Without Noise. And Amy's like, it's really good. And the reason we picked Loud Without Noise is because all the songs are about things that are on my brain, like things that are hurting me, things that make me anxious, things that have affected this kind of whiplash of emotions from 2020 to 22, which all the songs have been written between. And Loud Without Noise is kind of like evoking that I need to have music, TikTok playing constantly, or the thoughts will be loud. And those thoughts, you know, Drive's obviously about broken relationship and mentality personalization struggle. Fuck Me being about essay and lack of body image and self-love. I Don't Want It being about depression. Hang Me Like Jesus being about trauma and hopefully the better things that happen after that thing and recovering. Feminist about politics, all these things that kind of affect you as a young 20-something who's a bit of struggling, and why we love listening to podcasts and music and constantly scrolling TikTok and YouTube. I've been so bad for it. Like I'm a phone addict, and once we kind of it summarized all the songs up so well for someone who's a bit of an overthinker.
Wow, that's so special for you to share, like, and especially we just got such an insight into sort of every single, or like so many of the songs that are on the EP, and it just sounds like so autobiographical and so real, and like yeah, it just sounds like it's going to be it's going to be unexperienced is the word, because I feel like there's going to be moments of like really, really high with you coming on those songs with you, but then also really feeling your lows as well. So that feels like it's really special to share with
Thank you. It's real special. We did a fun event recently where we let fans listen to some songs early, and hearing about like how our songs have made them feel, because to be honest, sometimes I write songs, I'm a bit like, oh my god, I now have to sing this song about horrible shit for like ever. But then I hear how it makes other people feel this less alone, because it was the same when I was a kid, and just having those people who sing these things that are, you know, hit you too. It's building that family and making people feel, you know, all those taboo things where sometimes like rock and pop artists don't kind of delve into those things. It's the type of music we listen to, like, but also not. We also love Charlie XCX and Pussy Poppin', but like, you know, like bands like 1975 and who really cover those kind of deep things are like some of our favorites. So it's nice to be able to do that for like the next wave of people who we love so much.
Yeah, definitely. It's yeah, I'm glad you brought up the fan event, because I saw like even you were selling your like Liverpool headlining show on the streets, like basically on like what, like the mile, I guess. You're sort of selling tickets, like the fan events. I saw you doing a fan video. Like it seems like there is a massive fan involvement in actually like the content and what you do, rather than sort of like, I love my fans. Like you actually very much genuinely seem to like have a back and forth conversation. I think that's really, really wonderful. Did that spring sort of naturally from, I'm going to get into it a little bit more, did that kind of come naturally out of like the TikTok kind of situation, or did you actively sort of start doing fan events right away? Like sort of, how did you build this relationship, do you think?
It's always been like, we've always had like really engaged fans from the start. A lot of our fans are like, you know, younger teenagers, and it's just kind of the engagement that a young teen would have online. Like we were the same when we were that age, just, you know, wanting to be in the world of like whatever it was you were obsessed with. And yeah, it's always been like that really, and even more so now we can actually like connect with the fans, because for a long time it was, you know, COVID, and we just, you know, want to give back as much as we can and see them and give as much as we can, because we wouldn't be where we are without fans.
And it's interesting that you say sort of about, you mentioned come over and things like that. I have such like an interest in the concept of like going viral, because I've never been on the other side of it, where it's like I've always watched things go viral, I've never gone it. And I mean, it was for such like a meaningful trend. I feel hesitant to call it a trend, because it meant it was so important, and it was so filled with so much victory for everyone sort of sharing. Do you want to speak on that sort of trend at all, or yeah, using come over?
Yeah, I mean, we was like, when we wrote it and recorded it, we, you know, really believed in it and thought it was really special. But obviously we're never going to be a band that's right into like go viral or have a moment. It was just like we all felt really strongly about the song, and you know, it took off, and it meant that we could reach like a whole new audience and stuff. But yeah, it was like so special seeing people telling their own stories and just relating to the lyrics, and relating to them in a different way that we had originally written. So yeah, it's just great.
Yeah, I think like, because when the song was originally written, it's about such an awful thing. Like the song's about a few things, and obviously we can't actually say what the song's about, and I think I prefer that in a way, because it means what everybody thinks the song is about is true to them. And you know, a lot of artists go about it. I know Mitski talks about it a lot, how she doesn't really like analysing her songs too much, because she wants audience to kind of have their thing. And for our first show when we played it, where it'd been out, which was our Liverpool headline, which was our first ever tour, 2 sold out back-to-back shows, and we stood on the barrier and sang it, and you could just see everyone's faces and how they just all had this different story with this song. It wasn't like and I think that's so important. Like obviously writing for a trend has become a little bit more of a thing, because it's kind of how you stay prevalent in this moving industry currently. But at the same time, one thing I've noticed is good songs always blow up. Like, and that's what's so exciting to think that, you know, it's just because people were listening to it first, and then they brought their stories along with it, and it's amazing. And I'll never stop loving that song, you know.
As you probably can imagine, we have a lot of student involvement in the Class of, in the Student Music Network, everything, and Debut Music Magazine, lots of students, almost primarily students, really. And I saw on your Instagram that you actually graduated from, I'm going to say LIPA, is it pronounced LIPA?
Yeah.
Earlier this year. So, like, congratulations, amazing feat to sort of finish university. Is that where you guys formed and met and started making music? Was it pre LIPA?
Yeah, no, me and Liv, our bass player, we went to school together. So we were in a band in school since we were like 12, 13, and then we met Holly when we were like 16, and then started writing together as crawlers. And then, you know, when you hit 18, it's like, oh, should we do uni? Should we get jobs? What should we do? And it just was like, you know, it was a very easy decision. Like we all got into Lipper, and we were just like, let's just give it a good go. Like, we'll all be in the city together and we can write and learn together, and that's what we did. But no, we didn't meet at Lipper, as many people might think.
Yeah, we did. I think what was weird is that we all wanted to kind of go to different unis. Like, me and Amy kind of had a heart set on going to Leeds, and Liv really wanted to go to Manchester, and we were then just sat on this decision when we all got into uni together. And I don't know, it felt like something too special to leave. And like, I am not encouraging people to stay with their friends or with that. Like, I think you should do whatever makes you happy and whatever you think is going to further your life, whatever pursuit that is. But I think I can't be happier. God, fucking hell, imagine if we didn't go to uni together. I wouldn't be in a van in London right now.
It also gave us a lot of rehearsal space that we couldn't afford at the time.
It was free practice rooms. We will win. Well, I mean, £9 is all the money that right now, but still
feels free. It feels free, doesn't it? It's not, but it feels free. Okay, I have one final question that I was going to ask, just because we're on the uni situation. When you're sort of, because you graduated quite recently, is it sort of, how do you balance blowing up on TikTok, being a band, sort of being successful in that way, but then also like writing a dissertation or doing things? How do you sort of like?
We didn't do it very well. I mean, fortunately on our module we could hand a lot of things in that was relevant to crawlers and what we were doing, but I mean, our journey through that balance is probably not one that's going to help anyone asking a question.
I think like we were very, very, very fortunate that obviously we do a music degree and our job is in music, so a lot of our modules could be marked on what we were working our tits off. And I always said to my mum, I was like, just don't feel like I've worked that hard for the degree. And mum was like, no, because you were working your tits off for the band, which got you the grade. And I was like, oh yeah, that's true.